restrictions, right? So
yeah, we'll find out more on Monday.
yeah.
Everyone has removed that now. Today, this is a new thing when anyone, whether resident, non-resident, passport holder, whatever you are, just a quarantine. No, it's home. But if you do a PCR test, you need to report it. You need to report them every single day how you're feeling.
shall we start, Nilesh bhai?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Who's doing those mantra?
Yeah. Do you want to recite Parul, please?
Yes, I will. Jai Chinanda, everyone.
Jai Jinendra.
Namo Arahantaram, Namo Namo Sitaram, Namo Ayariyaram, Namo Uvachayaram, Namo Loye Savasahuram, Namo Loye Savasahuram, Eso Panchanamokaro, Savapava Panashara, Mangalaranja Savesim, Patamang Havai Mangalam, Patamang Havai Mangalam.
Jai Jinendra, everyone. Welcome to our Friday evening class. Today we are privileged once again to have Beena Shah from Nairobi joining us, and she will be conducting the class this evening. As you all, I don't know if I'm sure I introduced her last time, but I'll just do it once again. Beena has dedicated her life to Shichanna Vidyapith. She is one of the founder members of Shichanna Vidyapith in Nairobi, and she has been teaching for the last 25 to 30 years, and her spread of knowledge, her awareness, her insight is just so vast and so immense that whatever she speaks, we listen very intently. And as we all keep on telling her, when I was in Nairobi, we used to tell her, we would call her Mini Sadhviji. And at one stage, there was even that possibility that she might actually move to India and stay with the Sadhvijis. But then I think some of us protested against that. But really, it's we are honored, and she's my mentor. I obviously started teaching under her guidance. She has been a good friend. We've had lots of arguments, discussions, so many things we've done. But at the end of the day, there is a lot of respect. Really, I cannot say enough that she's going to illuminate Amar Vani is, and we all know how wonderful Amar Vani is. Gurudev Upadhyay Amar Muniji Maharaj. When you think about Gurudev, you think about the kind of personality he was, and that this Amar Vani was written way back, like about 30, 40 years, 40 years ago. And it is so relevant, so practical, and it is so beautifully written that, when you have Beena teaching us, I think it will be just wonderful. So we are starting chapter 3 now, today, and I hand over the session to Beena.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for those kind words. Really speaking, Dane, I think for you to speak, it just comes naturally. And for some of us, we have to think, Kesu Bolu, but you are so lucky. We will start this chapter. I will share screen. When I share screen, you might not see me, and as well as I will not be able to see you because it's a tablet that I'm using. So bear with me, but we'll try and do it this way. Okay, so how has your journey been so far?
When you said journey, do you mean with the book, or I mean?
Journey.
It has been good. I mean, you know, it has. We have definitely, there has been a lot of changes. You know, examining ourselves.
Yeah, true. So this chapter, which we're going to start now, which you're going to all learn about, sadhana. Sadhana etlesu. Who will answer? Shall we ask Nilesh Bhai? What is sadhana?
Spiritual practice.
Good, spiritual practice. Some sort of self-discipline, some sort of spiritual practice. Very good. And what could fall under your sadhana? We'll ask Channi Ben, sorry.
Worshipping, like daily, doing some vrat, pachkar, samaik. That's what I think would fall under my sadhana.
And why would you want to do that?
Well, basically to stop the karmas, inflow of karmas.
Okay, to stop the inflow. So somewhere in nature, two things that are a must in sadhana is somewhere in nature. Now, what is needed what is a prerequisite for sadhana? We'll ask Jigna. What is a prerequisite for sadhana? Jigna.
Can you unmute and answer, Jigna Ben? I don't know if she's there.
Okay, Rita, you can answer this. What is the prerequisite? What is needed for sadhana?
I think it's faith is really important.
Yes. Anything else?
The resolve you have.
Yes.
Discipline you have.
Yes. Good. So basically, Tran Vastu Sadhana Mate Joye. There is the Sadhya, the Sadhana. Let's stop working. Sadhya. Sadhya etle kya pochu che. Where do you want to reach? Your laksh is very important. Sadhana is the means by which you're going to reach to that laksh. And a sadhak is you who is going to do this sadhana. So sadhana is the means in which you reach the sadhya, which is the laksh. Have Gurudev ke che, you have a first part che, beautiful che, you have to this day adored innumerable gods, goddesses, worshipped bricks and stones, bathed in rivers and seas. But what have you gained? Tamesu prapt kairu. Not one bond of the soul has been broken. Not one sorrow has been removed. Not one black stain has been washed off. Why are you unnecessarily groping in the dark? Bring out this dormant power of your soul and proceed on the path of truth with courage and confidence. Do not falter. Amkechi, go ahead is this chapter. Do not falter, do not fall, do not turn back. Attainment of godhood is your birthright, and no power of this world can hold you back from attaining this holy objective. A बहुत beautiful paragraph che, and when he says that not one bond of the soul has been broken, not one sorrow has been removed. So what is this black stain which has not been washed off? What are we talking about here? Harshna, what are we talking about here?
Harshna, can you unmute? Harshna, are you there?
No? Alka Ben, what are we talking about here? Quiet class chair.
Sorry, Binabesh, I'm sorry. I've just joined in, so I'm a bit lost there.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sandeep, you can pick anybody to answer, please, because.
Yeah, okay. Hinaben? Hinaben?
Sorry. In terms of our karma, it depends on the level of your sadhana, basically.
Yeah.
And how pure your sadhana is. And I guess if that's in the correct direction, if my thoughts are in the correct direction, that's what I think.
Okay, good. So basically what Gurudev is saying, okay, we have worshipped so many things out there. Maybe out of herd mentality, we've been doing this. Constantly bija karta hoye એટલે આપણે કર્યું છે પણ આપણો લક્ષ્ય શું હતો? What was our aim? અને basically આમાં બહુ જ beautifully કહે છે કે bring out this dormant power of your soul. And જ્યાં સુધી આ dormant power of our soul ના નીકળે, or we are not working towards that, તો આપણી સાધના ના કહેવાય. કારણ કે સાધનાનો લક્ષ્ય છે. હવે જો આપણે આત્મા હોય તો આત્માની જે પ્રોપર્ટી છે એ કાઢવી જોઈએ, અને that is what we should be working about. So આખી path of sadhana is to do with the atma and its qualities. એટલે કે છે કે તમે આટલું બધું worship બધે કર્યું, પણ શું નીકળ્યું તમારું? One black stain has not been washed up. આપણે જેવા છે એવા છે હજી. કેમ એવા છે? We still get angry, we still get jealous, we want things from this world constantly. Our reactions ever constantly change. We have not been able to manage ourselves. Kem nahi? Because our lakshya was not decided. Our je અંદરનો આત્માનો ભાવ છે એ કોઈ દિવસ આપણે we've never fixed our goal. Okay, I want to get to that level of the soul. Any questions?
Bina, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, you know, આપણે કહીએ કે આપણે મંદિરોમાં જાય કે મસ્જિદમાં જાય કે ચર્ચમાં જાય, અને we pray, right? People go to pray, whether you pray to stone idols or you bathe in a river, people actually go to pray. So while they are praying, એ લોકોના ભાવ તો જરાક ઉત્કૃષ્ટ ના હોય કે જરાક તો ઊંચા ભાવ તો ના આવે કે at least I'm not saying it's a major transformation, but the fact that you have તમને અંદરથી ભાવ આવ્યો કે મારે આ દેરાસર કે આ મંદિરમાં જઈને પ્રાર્થના કરવી છે, the fact that તમે actually નમન કરો છો, the fact that તમે ત્યારે પ્રાર્થના કરો છો, તો એ તમારો જરાક તો ભાવ ઉત્કૃષ્ટ હોય ને, ઊંચો જ ભાવ હોય. And yes, it is not taking you, it's not taking you towards your laksh, but at least it's a step in the right direction, isn't it?
At least a step carry right hoy jare laksh decided hoy ne ત્યારે when you want to go and climb a mountain, તમે decide કરી લીધું કે મારે peak ઉપર પહોંચવું છે, so you each and every step is counting towards that peak. But if you have not decided your laksh and you just go and sort of wander on the mountain, it's not taking you anywhere. So basically bhav is very good when you pray, it is fine. But the thing is that just the laksh decided nathi, that's the all our kriya or whatever we do, it doesn't impel you in the right direction, it doesn't boost you in the right direction. લઈ જાય ખરા, થોડું step by step લઈ જાય, પણ it's very important કે આપણે લક્ષ્ય decide કરી લઈએ. So pray પછી, it is not like a sadhana, it is not a discipline. મન થાય ત્યારે દેરાસરે જાય, મન થાય ત્યારે pray કરીએ, એવું નહીં. Discipline means કે it is set કે હું આ દરરોજના આ ટાઈમે આ કરીશ such. So it's a discipline. Yes, Sandeep, makes sense?
Yeah. No, that's fine. I'll ask you another question later, but yeah, go on.
Good. So Unnecessary groping in the dark એટલે એમ જ કહે છે જ્યાં સુધી લક્ષ્ય decided નથી, aim decided નથી, ત્યાં સુધી બધું કરશું પણ we will not be able to reach that. અને આ dormant power એટલે શું? Who will answer that, Sandeep?
Dormant power, can I ask Bindi? Bindi, if you can unmute.
Yeah, so the dormant power, I believe, is the soul has a dormant power. Everybody has a dormant power. I think it's knowledge, the darshan and none, that we need to revive, like we need to get rid of the stains or the karmas so that the power does not remain dormant.
હા એ બરાબર છે પણ really speaking a dormant power શું છે? અંદરમાં શું છે
It's
આત્મામાં?
energy.
બીજું શું છે?
આત્માના ગુણ.
એટલે ગુણમાં શું આવશે?
Love for everybody.
I think more to do with it's purity.
Yes, purity. પણ જે કલ્ટિવેટ કરવાનું છે એ આ છે, લવ છે, પીસ છે. જે આગળમાં અમર મુનિજી when you did the book આગળમાં કેટલું બધું કીધું that peace, that intense desire for human service, the wanting to help others, the samta, જે હાર્મનીમાં કીધું તો samta, equanimity, detachment, not to blame others, being morally and ethically upright. So આ બધું આત્મામાં છે. This is what needs to be cultivated and this is the sadhana. કારણ કે સાધ્ય આપણે ડિસાઇડ કરીએ કે મને love, I want to love everyone. To love everyone માં પછી that becomes your laksh. So that means that now your whole life is directed towards getting to that place. Okay, I want to love everyone. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that is the sadhya and the
Thank
dormant
you.
power of the soul. This is so important કે આપણને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ આ power શું કરે છે આપણે, what are we aiming for? That is the dormant power of the soul. And that is why in this first paragraph he's saying કે જો જ્યાં સુધી આ dormant power of the soul, if we don't bring it out, ત્યાં સુધી we are going to grope in the dark. કારણ કે ત્યાં આપણે round and round જશું. It's like as Sandhiji was explaining, it's a dark room and there is only one door there. So you're constantly moving against the wall to find that door. But જ્યાં સુધી એ door ના મળે ત્યાં સુધી we are always groping in the dark. But you might even bypass that door because of this herd mentality or because of following what others are doing and not thinking about what we are doing. ત્યાં સુધી આપણને નહીં મળે. So he's setting, Gurudev Upadhyay Shri Amar Muniji is setting in the first paragraph that this is the important laksh, this is the important aim to bring out the dormant power of your soul. So love, forgiveness, patience, courage, all this, anything you can pick up, and that will be the dormant power of the soul. So how do you bring it out, this dormant power of the soul? How do you bring it out? Anyone?
By practicing detachment, seeing every person as same soul as you, and just practicing all the qualities of the soul, egoless, no power, no ego.
Yes. So basically practice is the one which brings out the dormant power, and that is called sadhana. Good. Vilpa. Next. It's refusing.
I guess Bina.
Yeah.
It's Rita here. I guess after bata we talk about moksha as being our goal che moksha che. But you know the important thing which you are bringing out is ke apra je dormant power che which is within us, the power of compassion che, power of love che. You know, if you bring that out, then we don't have to think that sort of at a moksha level, but it's about bringing this power back out. And I guess that's exactly what you are saying. Is that correct?
That's exactly what I'm saying. કે અત્યારના આપણા સિચ્યુએશનમાં શું નેગેટિવ છે અને what the dormant power of the soul is. Anger હોય તો anger is not the dormant power of the soul, but forgiveness is the dormant power of the soul. So jare anger ave, that think about forgiveness, not only think, but put it into practice. And that is the sadhana. Okay, I want to be a forgiving soul. So that is your sadhana. Moksha, yes, it is a far-fetched thing, but ultimately the moksha change. But unless and until we awaken ourselves to this small attributes of the Atma, ત્યાં સુધી મોક્ષ કેવી રીતના મળશે? So Rita, you're very right. કે મોક્ષ ultimately છે, પણ this freedom, compassion, being forgiving, being humble, આ બધા qualities છે which we need to cultivate, and that will be our sadhana. Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay.
But
So,
while we are striving to achieve for moksha, Meena and Rita, then in the meantime, je Gurudev ke che ke you have this compassion for fellow mankind. You see other souls as equal to you. You basically give out a helping, and that can easily be cultivated. Even if you haven't realized the true inner power of your soul, it can be cultivated because it is part of being human, isn't it?
Yeah, it's part of being human. At the same time, it is also atmanubhav, being good to others, or having doing service to others, sacrificing your own life for others is still atmanubhav. So it is still going to reflect. Yeah, good.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
So I've just listed a few things: dormant power, infinite sukh, and therefore sorrows must be removed and negativity must go. એટલે આપણી સાધના આમાં હોવી જોઈએ કે જો જ્યાં સોરો લાગતું હોય ઈ કાઢવું જોઈએ, અને જ્યાં નેગેટિવિટી હોય ઈ બી કાઢવી જોઈએ. So that's why I'm bringing in the kashais. But in the first chapter, he said, make your life true, good, and beautiful. You've done this. So that can be your sadhana. To be peaceful can be your sadhana. To curtail desires, control passions can be your sadhana. And એમને આગળ બી એમ જ કીધું, to do not blame the nimit. જે તમે dog ને lion નો example કર્યો હતો. So આપણે constantly we blame others for our dukh, for our sukh we take it upon ourselves કે મને જ થયું, મેં જ આ કર્યું હતું. So all these things need to be worked on, because that is not the ultimate. Dormant power of the soul means that you are able to sort of be in that. Maru to, I'm just a nimit. Mara lidhe, really speaking, kind of thatu. And maru purusharth mara માટે છે to be in that state of a witness. કે કર્મ જે લઈ આવે છે, how will I practice samta bhav? That can also be your sadhana. Changing your attitude can also be a sadhana. To detach from things can be a sadhana. Seeing good in others can also be a sadhana. આપણે constantly બીજાને જોઈએ તો sometimes negativity જ આવતી હોય. So one thing to do, practice, and a sadhana doesn't mean કે a lifelong practice છે. Once you've cultivated this, you can go on to another sadhana. So sadhana is very dynamic. It doesn't have to be very passive, or it doesn't have to be oh mare આ કરવાનું છે. It doesn't have to be a burden. It can be anything that you are interested in doing to help you not to react badly to others. So seeing good in others. કોઈકમાં negative જ દેખાતું હોય તો try and look for good in others. So this is some of the dormant power. Human service is also, as Sandeep said, human service is also a dormant power of the soul. There was one Muni, Nandisan Muni, and once he took his vows, he had decided that mare khari service such karvish to every being, including other monks. So ek divas naturally Devlokma enubo vawa thyu. So those two one Dev came, and he changed into a very old person and a very ugly person, and he was also sadhu, that Dev. So when he came down, and this Nandisan had just taken gochri and he had brought it. So the other Dev came and told him, "Ke have તમે તો આ સર્વિસ નું કહો છો, અહીંયા તો ઓલો ઓલ્ડ માણસ છે, ઈ તો જો બિચારો એમને પડ્યો છે, so why don't you take care of him?" So he immediately went, he left his gochri and he went to do service. એટલે એને ધ્યાન રાખ્યું, એને સાફ કર્યું, બધું કર્યું. And the old man was behaving like a very bad person, and આટલું બધું negative કહેતા હતા, all that. But Nandisanનો લક્ષ્ય હતો કે no matter what, I will just do service, અને ગમે તે થાય I will not utter a word. કારણ કે એ સાધુ હતા અને he's taken a lifelong vow of equanimity. So no matter what comes along, he said that I will take care of him. And the sadhu actually, Nandisan took the sadhu to the Upashraya. On the way, this sadhu went on defecating on him. He was carrying him. So he was defecating, urinating, throwing up on him. But Nandisan did not even utter a word. Now you can imagine, it's a very ideal example. We will not be able to relate to it, but imagine કે એને આટલું પેશન્સ હતું, આટલું એનું લક્ષ્ય ડિસાઇડેડ હતું, તો એની સાધના કેવી હતી. So I'm just trying to bring that in. Okay, next, through sadhana or self-discipline is how we will manifest this dormant power. And of course, Gurudev is also saying, do this sadhana with courage and confidence. Why courage and confidence? Why these two very important attributes? Why?
Someone?
I think because આપણે જ્યારે સાધના કરે, so you gave quite amazing examples there. So Emma, even if we take one thing which we want to achieve, so Emma, there will be times when we will not achieve it. There will be times when things will go really badly, or there'll be times when we'll really achieve it in a good way. So there will always be things where things may not work out the way you want it within your spiritual practice. So, but not to sort of feel dejected, to have the confidence, but have faith that you will get there one day if you work hard, because things can never be smooth all the time.
Yes, very true, very true. So basically that courage and confidence is a requirement for sadhana. Without that, you will not be able to progress. We will falter. એટલે go ahead, કીધું ને, આગળ જાઓ અને પાછા નહીં જાઓ. Do not falter, do not fall back. And falter and fall back ક્યારે થાય? જ્યારે courage ના હોય. When you are not able to face that, or confidence ના હોય, હચ્ચુ પચ્ચુ હોય કે હું આ કરીશ તો શું થશે. You should be very confident કે હું આ કરું છું, મને આ પ્રાપ્ત થશે જ. So this confidence is a requirement for sadhana. Otherwise, we will not be able to progress. We will not go ahead. We will falter back. But your next passage, both again, nice passage.
Bina, sorry to interrupt you. Bina, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
So, faith, where does faith play a role in what you've talked so far? આપણે સાધનાના માર્ગ ઉપર ચાલ્યા છે, આપણે લક્ષ્ય નક્કી કર્યો, અને વચ્ચે તમને કદાચ hindrances આવે, તમને કદાચ તમારા આત્માનું સરખું ઓલું ના હોય, તો આમાં faith, does it play a role here?
It is the basis. The faith is the basis. કે જ્યારે લક્ષ્ય ડિસાઇડ થાય છે ત્યારે faith થી ડિસાઇડ થાય છે લક્ષ્ય. કે faith ના હોય તો you will never decide your goal.
That's true.
Yes, yeah, Sandeep?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
okay.
And I guess, Bina, sorry, one more thing. I guess what you have said so far, it's really important for all of us to think about it, because a lot of us feel if we fail once, we've always failed. But it isn't, it's not about the minute you say, okay, I'm not going to do this, or this is how I want my life to be, and it doesn't happen, so that means you've failed and you've just got rid of. Actually, that is all sadhana. The sadhana is to get to that position of being helpful to all, or being compassionate to all. That is the end product. The journey is the sadhana where we practice, we see what works, so that contemplation is so important. And then trying things out, experimenting becomes important.
Yes, the sadhana is experimentation, and that is the important thing. And as you're saying, okay, once you fail, it doesn't mean you failed. Actually, you moved one step closer to your goal, because failure is not really failure. It's a mistake that you've made, and you can correct your mistakes. So mistakes are important to make in sadhana, because mistakes na kariye to kevi na learn karsu. So this is the important thing. Very good, Rita. Thanks.
So,
Okay.
Pinaben,
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me actually now.
Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Perfect, because I had to restart my laptop. Right, so, if I understand correctly, it's having self-confidence. So it's having confidence in your own self. And once you know what your goal is, you actually go and work on that path, whatever others have to say. Like Sage Nandisani story ki thi, okay, your goal, you must, what you're trying to say is you mustn't forget what your goal is. Have confidence in yourself. કેટલી પણ difficulty આવે, કંઈ પણ હોય, but you still keep on going, whatever pace, you're just going in the right direction. Am I right?
Yes, but the goal has to be right. You see,
Yes.
dormant power of the soul, that is the important goal. That must be there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. So self-confidence is necessary, that faith is necessary. And no matter what everyone says, you should have faith in yourself. And after all, everybody else is not going to bear your karma. You have to bear it yourself. So tame je karo છો and tamarama confidence hoy, so why don't you just do it? Don't listen to others if you feel કે એ લોકો કઈ help નથી કરતા. If people are bringing you down, you should not even listen to them, really speaking. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can also say that never give up. Don't give up. If you're on the right path with the right faith, don't give up, and that's what will take you there.
Yeah, and that is why this chapter starts with sadhana, with go ahead. એટલે એમ કહે છે કે તમે આગળ જ જાઓ. Don't go backwards. એટલે એમ કહે છે. Yes. Okay. હવે next કહે છે કે oh ascetic, see that you do not drop out in the course of your penance, which we'll discuss. Success is not an ordinary thing to be picked up in the lanes and alleys of any town. It is a throw of the heart. What does he mean by this? Anyone? No one?
I guess આપણે કહે છે કે success is not something which we can just buy, we can just get from somewhere. It has to come from within.
Yes.
Yeah. You have to work to get, you have to put in your hard work, basically.
Exactly. Yes. So you have to put in your hard work, but it's a throw of the heart. It's a calling of the heart. It is not that બારેથી ક્યાંય મળવાનું છે. અંદરથી ઉત્પન્ન થવું જોઈએ. અંદરથી થવું જોઈએ કે મને આ કરવું છે. Because that is your impetus. Otherwise, બારેથી લેવા જાશો તો શું? It doesn't affect you. So આ બહુ important છે કે અંદરથી આપણને મન થવું જોઈએ કે મને આ કરવું છે. I want to become like this. પછી કહે છે, while treading on this path of, you have to melt yourself. એટલે શું? Melt yourself.
You will have to work hard at it. You know, Purusharth is very important when you are trying to achieve what you want to do.
But melt sukarvanj. Melt sukarvanj.
Ego.
He's talking about the body as well, with because sadhana comes from within, the soul. It's your body, it's penance, it's all penance. The body will be hurt as well.
Yeah, so body to use કરવાની છે, પણ melt આપણે જે કશાય કહે છે ને, soul જે ego છે, really speaking, the ego has to be melted. And you know the example કે ગૌતમ સ્વામી જ્યારે મહાવીર ભગવાન પાસે ગયા the first time, ત્યારે he was so arrogant કે આ કોણ આવ્યું છે, I need to win him over. And atlu arrogance, but immediately he saw Mahavir Bhagwan, his ego completely melted. Melted એટલે ઓલું માનસમ જોઈને એનું melt જ થઈ ગયું. મહાવીર ભગવાનને જોઈને. So જ્યારે melt થાય ત્યારે we can progress on this path. એટલે એમ કહે છે, you have to melt yourself. એટલે આપણા જે અંદરમાં જે આપણા fixations છે, જે આપણામાં we've got compartments of ideas, એ બધું melt કરવું પડે, because this path doesn't allow you to have your own sort of your own thinking. In the thinking, I'm using the wrong words, but તમારો own stubbornness, rigidity, that has to go. You have to melt that. Otherwise, you cannot tread this path, because you have to be open-minded. Anekantvad plays a big role here. We have to be open-minded, open to others' ideas, open to see how others see. Pachikechi, do you not see that the sun has to contend with darkness the whole night before it rises on the peak of the light and glory in the morning? Sun no example can be.
The sun, because sun atlu powerful che topan, it has to go through that darkness of the night to carry on with the next day.
Yes. So after be darkness through past thou person to go into the light. So એવું જ કહે છે કે આપણું જે darkness અંદરમાં છે એ જ્યાં સુધી કાઢે નહીં ત્યાં સુધી light નથી આવવાની. So basically darkness under કાઢવાની. As the candle is melting itself, the dross has to go down to આપણને આપણું મળશે. Even Haribhadra Suri around 6th 7th century ના આચાર્ય હતા and he was not even a Jain, he was a Hindu. And he never liked Jain Dharma, he never studied the Jain Dharma. But in bhau જ powerful intelligence હતું and he had the ability to compete with others and always win. હવે જેનું constantly win કરતા હોય in arguments and in debates, તો એનું arrogance કેટલું હોય. So Haribhadra Suri also was very arrogant. And એક ફેરે unfortunately he entered a Jain temple. But any kafi je murti joine kafi and negative boilu. But as he was passing the upashraya after that, he heard some sadhviji ke enu ek statement ke ek bolta ta verse and he couldn't understand. So Haribhadra eva hata ke he had decided ke mane kai samajh nahi pade, so I will become somebody's disciple and learn. So although arrogance atlo hato, but his ego did not come in his way for learning. So immediately Sadhviji bolta tha ene samajh na padi. He immediately went to the Sadhviji, Jain Sadhviji hata, and he ke mane please explain karo, mane nathi samajh padti, despite his level. And pachi the Sadhviji said ke of course Guru Maharaj pase jao and he will explain. So he became a sadhu, he became a Jain sadhu and ઘણી બધું એને Jainism માટે બહુ જ કર્યું છે. So ego has to go, this negativity has to go in sadhana. That's all I'm saying. Pachi, we've talked about the sun. Okay. Next.
Sorry, one thing. What about surrendering? Have we got a role of to surrender? When melting down can mean surrendering.
Yeah, melting down can also mean surrender. When you find the right person, then you surrender to that person. So je vadare enlightened hoy, ene pachi you have to surrender. Like Haribhadra Suri, despite his ego, then he went to the Guru and a Guru emne kidhu ke jo tamne sikhu hoy, so you will have to become a Jain sadhu. And he surrendered to that and he said, okay, I will. So that is surrender. When you find somebody more enlightened than enlightened and you have that connection, then you surrender to that person so that person can lead you. It's more beneficial when you surrender to the right person. Yeah, Rita?
Thank you.
Okay. હવે કે છે true devotee કોને કહેવાય? So આમાં ઘણી બધું કહેશે કે it's not an easy path. કીધું ને royal road નથી, but it is hard path. This path of sadhana will be a hard path, strewn with thorns and sharp-edged pebbles that would make your feet bleed. And it is attended, attended by a series of heart-chilling accidents and events, one after the other. So, keva mange che? Anybody? Any example?
So basically, karma na uday ave. So we will be, we will have to bear the consequences, won't we? Isn't that what he's trying to say?
Yeah. Let me give you an example. Okay, let's try this example. Okay, we want to conquer our ego. Our ego is very subtle for us. Now, what sort of sharp-edged pebbles or what sort of thorns would come in the way? For example, we are trying to conquer our ego. Let's look at that. Anybody?
Somebody can tell us off or whatever, and suddenly we will say, why are they doing this to me? So something will come within you to say, why did they do this? little things like that, little things which make you irritate करे.
Exactly. So,
Criticism.
criticism. So koi criticize करे तो immediately the ego will burst. I'm getting it thorns. Thorn hoy olu balloon hoy ne inflated balloon. I thorn નાખે તો તરત break થઈ જશે. Burst થઈ જશે. Sharp edged pebble. Sharp. એટલે જરાક કોઈ કંઈક કહેશે એટલે તરત આપણું burst થઈ જશે. કોઈને લગ્નમાં ઇન્વાઇટ ના કર્યું તો આપણું તો ઈગો ક્યાંક પહોંચી જાય કે મને કેમ ના કીધું. પછી કોઈ આટલું ફાઇન ખાવાનું કર્યું, કોઈ એપ્રિશિએટ ના કર્યું તો આપણું તો ખબર નહીં મર્ક્યુરી ક્યાં પહોંચે છે. પછી constant impatience, expectations, પછી all this is affecting the ego constantly. એટલે કીધું ને કે we have to work on ourselves and it is not an easy path કારણ કે constantly આપણને irritate કરવા વાળું કંઈક ઊભું જ છે. અને ego તો example લીધો પણ આવું બધું જ છે. પછી કે છે it's attended by heart chilling accidents and events one after the other. હવે સાધુ મહારાજનો પાઠ જોઈએ તો કેટલું બધું એ લોકોની ડિફિકલ્ટી ઊભી જ છે. So એ ડિફિકલ્ટ પાથ છે પણ the end result is always so great. અને પછી કે છે in the words of Kabir, the devotee must ever keep himself prepared to embrace death. Death no આગળ બી આવશે, we can discuss it then. And the devotee is the man who would tread on thorns, cross the oceans, rule over the storms. આ બધું તો ઓલું when you fall in love ત્યારે બધા કહેતા હોય ને we'll cross the oceans and we'll, I don't know what they say. તો આ બધું તો ત્યારે કરે છે બધા. Spiritual માં ખબર નહીં ક્યારે. But this is what it is. So you have to make a lot of effort to go over this because it's a huge task. And he would tread over the peaks of the highest mountains. Important છે. Sorrow is his friend and happiness is his enemy. આપણું opposite છે કે આમ જ છે?
આપણે happiness ના ગોતતા હોય બીના, that's why we are. Aren't we looking for bliss?
Bliss નહીં, આ happiness કેમ કહે છે? Happiness કહે છે. કે છે sorrow is his friend and happiness his enemy. આપણું happiness friend છે અને sorrow enemy છે. Why am I saying that?
Because what he is trying to say is that if you can overcome adversities that happen in your life, which is what we would say as sorrow, then you have conquered, you have actually achieved what you want to achieve. Whereas for us, we don't want any problems, we don't want anything, we want life to be a smooth sailing journey.
Yes. Yes.
But if you have a smooth sailing journey, then you actually don't know whether you are able to conquer your kashais.
Exactly. So just sorrow che, and he even in another part of this book he talks about ke mane sorrow જ આપજો, I don't want happiness, because sorrow much learning થાય છે, sorrow much આપણો આત્મા આગળ વધી શકે છે, અને happiness માં we are constantly looking to sort of give us comforts and this happiness. So both outside oriented che, whereas sorrow can be quite inner oriented, but જે basic सम्यक दर्शन હોય અને પછી આ statement હોય તો it is very good. Otherwise આર્ત રૌદ્ર ધ્યાન થાય તો એ ખરાબ છે. Okay.
That's what I was going to say. Then we would lament and feel miserable for ourselves and feel sorry.
Exactly. So Mahavir Bhagwan, sorry, go on.
Even the sorrow che, it keeps us on track as well, isn't it? Whereas happiness જ્યારે મળે ત્યારે કેવું કે it's like it folks આપણું જે ધ્યેય હોય એ ધ્યેયમાંથી we are actually diverted. Is that right?
Yes, we are diverted. When in comforts or when in happiness we get diverted. We are still we are still those innocent types who sort of get swayed away by these things. Wherever. I think we've answered this question. Why is the path of truth a hard path? Yes.
I guess, Veena, the other thing which I've just sort of been thought about is when Gurudev talks about there are lots of thorns, you have to cross over storms, etc. It's even our thinking which sort of leads us to all sorts of things. It's probably not talking a lot about the conduct, but talking more about apna vichar.
Yes, વિચાર it's the basis. એટલે આપણે કહીએ ને સમ્યક દર્શન. આપણો જે વિચાર છે, આપણું દ્રષ્ટિ જે છે એ સાચી હોય, રાઈટ હોય, તો પછી it's okay. પણ જો વિચાર ખોટી ડાયરેક્શનમાં જતા હોય, then it will not help our sadhana. Yes, Rita? Okay. જે મહાવીર ભગવાન, if you look at the ઉપસર્ગ, કે કેટલા બધા ઉપસર્ગ એમને આવ્યા હતા, and he is one Tirthankar who got the maximum upsarg compared to other Tirthankars. Malinath Bhagwan, so within the day 3 hours, એમને કેવલ જ્ઞાન થઈ ગયું હતું. પણ મહાવીર ભગવાન 12.5 years અને constant upsarg, એવું નથી કે એક દિવસ નહીં, એક દિવસનું છે, પણ constant upsarg and how we pass through. So he is a real good example to use. કે મહાવીર ભગવાન ને આ ઉપસર્ગ આવ્યો તો શું કર્યું એમને, અને આપણે આવો ઇન્સિડન્ટ આવે તો આપણે શું કરીએ. Heart-chilling incidents also have happened in, I will take, for example, Gad Sukumal. Gad Sukumal was Krishna's brother, and he had taken Diksha under Neminath. And just the first day, he said, I want to meditate in the cemetery. And a cemetery magya, and would be sasro hato, or to be sasro hato, he came and he decided, he did something bad. He was engaged to my girl, to my daughter, and now he's taken Diksha and he didn't even tell us or whatever. So any leather belt bind to in a matha upar ne angara, એટલે coals nahi khanda, burning coal. So you can imagine ke a heart chilling accident che, but Gad Sukumal ne keval જ્ઞાન થઈ ગયું, because એનું કેટલું faith હતો in himself કે આ કર્મના ઉદયથી આ થાય છે. It is not happening to me, the soul, it is happening to this body. So those are again very high level of examples. But our life ma be ઘણું બધું થાય તો ક્ષમતા રાખવી, it's very important. Sorry. પછી કહે છે, so naturally necessity of courage, confidence, determination. Vicissitudes of life will not impact if the goal is decided. And before he gave an example, a river always forges ahead to meet the ocean, whereas a pond just dries up, it stagnates and dries up. And we've also discussed this, sorrow and happiness. Any questions?
Yeah.
And before this, you also, when you talked about success, you also mentioned, okay, do not be half-hearted, achieve your goal with full interest, faith, love, devotion, and intelligence. These are important things when we are trying to go on this path of sadhana. Now, ultimate that we are trying to achieve next kiche is samadhi. Have samadhi at least. Samadhi.
Is it like Keval Gnan?
Ha, oneness. Ape to sadhya, sadhana, and sadhak. So all of these three become one in a samadhi ke. Okay, whatever you're doing, you reach there, and a sadhana now it becomes itself. Like ape meditation kare, you concentrate on let's say candle, and pachi aankh band karine that candle is in you. So basically that oneness of sadhya, sadhak, and sadhana is called samadhi. And je Patanjali Ashtang Yog che, ima bi samadhi is the final step. Ima ઘણું બધું Patanjali એ કીધું છે કે પેલા yam એટલે you observe આપણે જે 5 vows છે ને to live a moral life એ yam છે. પછી નિયમ means કે cultivate inner purification, mental purification. પછી keep your body healthy, keep your breath healthy, એટલે breathing proper કરવાની. And after all this is done, pratyahar means ke senses ne kevitna withdraw karwa, because senses are constantly moving outwards. Now the senses have to come within. Dharana means how much are you able to concentrate on one thing. Dhyan would mean ke have you are able to concentrate or focus on that thing. And jare focus thai ne pachi samadhi thai, because tame sadhak cho, you are the one who is doing the sadhana. Tame under meditation karo cho, you are focusing on the atma. Jare tame pote atma ne realize kari dyo, tyare ene samadhi ki. So ultimate are samadhi che, and that is why the next bit that Gurudev is talking about is this. Okay, devotee, deity, and devotion. These are the Trinity, and the devotee, of course, is the adorer. The deity is God, and devotion is concentration. When in the process of concentration, devotee identifies himself with the deity and severing all bonds of attachment and illusion, he merges himself with the deity. Then alone he would taste the divine fruit of his penance. So this is samadhi, when the deity and the devotee merge into one. That is called samadhi. And that is the ultimate of sadhana. And then he says that the identification of the human soul with the soul divine is real devotion. Another important thing is bringing out, he says, the more the devotee is devoted to his deity, his more concentration will he have, and more closely will he identify himself with the deity. Without this identification, the devotee cannot taste the nectar of penance or get liberated. A bહુ જ important last sentence છે કે without this identification of devotee and a deity, the devotee, you cannot taste the nectar, because where are you trying to reach? It is the deity you are trying to reach to. So deity to identification has to be with the deity, nothing else. જેમ સંદીપે કીધું કે આપણે પ્રાર્થના કરીએ અને ઉત્કૃષ્ટ ભાવ ક્યારે હોય? જ્યારે when you are able to see yourself in the Paramatma, કે તમે પરમાત્મા છો અને તમે you are that, ત્યારે ઉત્કૃષ્ટ પ્રાર્થના થાય છે, ત્યારે ઉત્કૃષ્ટ, that is the highest level. Any questions here?
So I have a question. You know, this fact that the more the devotee is devoted to his deity, his more concentration will he have, and more closely will he identify himself with the deity. હવે આ deity શું છે?
Deity, actually, you can take it as your Atma or as Paramatma, because jare, when you are concentrating outside, it will be Paramatma. It can be Mahavir Bhagwan, it can be any Paramatma or Paramatmani qualities, right? But when the Paramatma merges with you, when you become that, then that is the highest, because Bare che Paramatma and Tame che, they are two separate beings. But what Gurudev is saying, once you become that deity, that is the samadhi, you become that deity. So deity kyare ban? So when you can identify with the deity. If you don't identify with the deity, if candle rakhine apne meditation kariye, to candle upar જ કર્યા કરે, do you know, identifying with the deity. Deity નું કંઈક જુદું હોય ને, એનું attributes કંઈક જુદા હોય ને. So when you see those attributes within you, and when you connect with that, that becomes the ultimate connection. That is the identification. Okay, what he's trying to say, identify with the deity. Don't identify with other things, I think. Anyone?
So that is like saying કે નર માંથી નારાયણ થાવું.
Exactly.
Okay.
Good. Any questions?
No.
Okay,
so,
good.
Sorry, so Binavan, you know, when you start, you are different, but as you're walking along that path, you actually are, whatever, then you are identifying the attributes are becoming closer to the deity, and at the end, you and the deity are the same. It's just united. Am I right?
Very well put. Exactly what I'm saying. Yes. Exactly what Gurudev is saying, rather. Yes, very right. Okay. We move. Like any adventurous journey, falls, misfortunes will happen, but you get up and rebound with double speed. The less things disturb us, the more our peace and bliss of concentration and harmony. You know where that came in from, but wait. Now, what has death got to do with sadhana? Because next I have fear of death. Death and sadhana masu. What is the connection?
Okay, you die before you've achieved your ultimate goal.
Now, વાંધો નથી, my death આવી જાય to be.
It's the apane fear hoy death, no, which stops us from doing things, which doesn't make us, like Amar Kitu, doesn't allow us to go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't allow you to go ahead. એટલે જ્યાં ફિયર ઓફ ડેથ હોય ને ત્યાં પછી કરેજ આપણું હાઈલું જાય, કોન્ફિડન્સ હાઈલું જાય, બધું હાઈલું જાય. Because we are now that fear એ મોહનીય કર્મનો પ્રકાર છે ને, એટલે જ્યાં ફિયર ઊભું છે ત્યાં it doesn't allow you to move forward with courage. Boldness વયું જાય આપણું, because this journey requires boldness, તો એ બી વયું જાય. So that is why it is a hindrance to sadhana. Okay. હવે કે છે, are you afraid of death? Is death something to be feared? He says death is nothing but a change. કોઈને બીક છે ડેથની આ ગ્રુપમાં?
હા, બધાને હોય.
I think we are all afraid of death, even if we say we are not.
હા, એટલે yeah, okay. તો ઘણા, I mean, હોય, but with sort of understanding. અને પછી છેલ્લે આવશે કે you have to conquer death. So we'll come to it. So he alone should fear this change, who is involved in sins. આ બહુ જ ફાઇન થઈ છે કે કોને ફ્રાઇટ હોવી જોઈએ. જેને સારું કર્યું હોય તો એનું ડેથ ભલે ને થાય, અમે ડેથ તો થવાનું જ છે. It's the only certainty in life. So એ તો થવાનું જ છે. So whether we are prepared for it or not prepared for it, it's going to come. So કે છે કે જેને પાપ કર્યું હોય એને બીક લાગવી જોઈએ. પણ જેને બ્યુટીફુલી લાઈફ લીવ કરી છે, when he's done everything that he's been talking about before, બીજા માટે કર્યું છે, પછી આટલું બધું સારું કર્યું છે, તો એને શું વ્યાધિ છે? ફોર એક્ઝામ્પલ, ઓલો કાલ સવરિક બુચર હતો, એની કોન્સ્ટન્ટલી એનું ધ્યાન એમાં જ હતું કે મારું કોને, મારું મારું મારું, so to kill. So basically એને જરાક પ્રોબ્લેમ હોવો જોઈએ. Or that Sangam who had sort of brought in so many obstacles to Mahavir Bhagwan. તો એને જરાક બીક હોય કે હવે હું મરી જઈશ પછી ક્યાં જઈશ. પણ આપણે આટલા સારા લોકો છે તો આપણે ડેથની શું વ્યાધિ છે એમ. Yeah.
એટલે what you are saying is કે સારું જીવન જીવવા હો અને તો પછી તમને મૃત્યુ આવે તો તમને સંકોચ ના થવો જોઈએ. You should just accept it અને સમતાથી કરવાનું, because inevitable છે જ મૃત્યુ.
Inevitable છે જ. આવશે જ, કારણ કે તો આવશે એમ નહીં, પણ આવશે જ, કારણ કે આવવાનું જ છે મૃત્યુ. પણ સારી રીતના જી લઈએ તો પછી વાંધો નથી. એમ જે કીધું ને કે the change that leads you to the path of spiritual progress and which brings you to the portals of spiritual enlightenment should be heartily welcome. બહુ fine statement છે કે ગમે તે તમે કરો, if it's giving you spiritual progress and spiritual enlightenment, તો પછી કાંઈ વાંધો નથી. Death ભલે ને આવે તો આવે, I mean it will come, but you will move ahead. If the highest spiritual ambition of your life has not been fulfilled in this life, it may be fulfilled in this life to come. જો સંસ્કાર સારા પાડી લીધા તો આગળ એ સંસ્કાર ઉભા જ છે ને આગળ સારું જ મળવાનું છે. એટલે don't be frightened of death if you are living your life well. પણ જો ખરાબ રીતના આપણે રહેતા હોઈએ, with badness within us, evil within us, no compassion within us, તો પછી જરાક વિચાર કરવા જેવું છે. Yeah, makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. અને sort of last કે છે, આ પંડિત ગુરુદત્તનું કેમ એક્ઝામ્પલ દીધું? What does he mean by it? Anyone? He was breathing his last, and when death was knocking at his door, he said, somebody asked him, why are you so happy? And he said, I could not be Dayanand, which is Arya Samajna founder in this life, but in next and better life, I shall try to be Dayanand.
So it's a spiritual progress, right? That's what he's talking about. કે મારું આવતા ભાવમાં મને એવું ભાવ મળે કે I can further my spiritual journey.
Yeah. Just that he was a leader of Arya Samaj. એટલે દયાનંદની અંદર જ હતા, and of course his ideal was Dayanand. But Dayanand, but he couldn't be like him. But I think now I've fixed myself in him. એટલે હું એનું જ પાથ લ્યો છું. તો પછી next life માં હું એ જ બની જઈશ. એનામાં કેટલી કોન્ફિડન્સ હતી કે I'll be Dayanand. જેમ આપણે કહીએ ને ગહરમાં છેલ્લે કે શું કહે છે છેલ્લી લાઈન
રોગમારી દુટચા જંતી વસાવમ
ઈ સંતો મહાયસ ભક્તિ ભર નિભરે ને હી અને તા દેવદી છે ભવે પાસ જીણ ચંદ
ભવે પાસ જીણ ચંદ તમે મને ભવે ભવ મળજો. એટલે we are also putting ourselves કે મને આ લાઈફમાં તો તમે મહિના પણ ભવ મળજો. And it's a confidence કે હું આ થાય સચ. So that is sadhana, confidence. Okay. And the same thing is held by Jain scholars કે આપણે કહીએ ને મૃત્યુ મહોત્સવ. Pachi, he's quoting Mahadevi Verma, the same thing, take your bark to the sea, drown yourself in the sea if you want to cross it. So basically, you should be able to swim across. And then finally, Gurudev says, if death appears to be a foe to you, and not a friend, come forward, fight with it, conquer it, if you can. Why are you afraid? Why do you hesitate? Do you think that if you tremble with fear and prostrate before it, death will not spare you? No, never. Death will not spare anyone. Now, how do you fight and conquer death? Those who are afraid of death, and Rasila Ben said, "Apra afraid of death."
No, I said we think we are not, but I think when the situation arises, we may be. I think the only way from what we've done so far to fire and death is actually not to worry about death because we know it's a consequence, but just live a life which is good.
Yes, live a life which is good.
And by conquering death, I think he means that you reach such a stage that you become one with the deity, in which case you get out of the cycle of birth and rebirth.
Yes.
But that may not happen in this life, Sandeep.
No, I agree. But whenever it happens, it happens.
Yes. So basically, conquering death means you become immortal.
To get rid of the fear of death, if you look at it, it is a part of your soul's life. Like say, apri life ma apre graduate thaye, apre job male first, you get married. So this death is a part. It's a stage of your soul's life, like your soul's stage for you to get to moksha. So as soon as you accept it, you accept ke na maru death avanu che, and it is a stage of my soul's journey, then it becomes easier.
Yes, true. So acceptance, and it's a reality. There is no other reality apart from death.
So one thing I like about this Amarvani is that he is so positive. Every verse of his talks about positivity, and એમાં એટલું બધું positivity, એટલું બધું courage. બધાને આમ, he's giving courage to everyone. Okay, listen, this path is wonderful. Move on it. Don't look behind. Don't be scared. Just move on it.
Very true. Aki Bukma, you will find so much there which you can adopt as sadhana. So in conclusion, be solid in your sadhana. Dradta hovi joye, determination hovi joye, which is based on faith. Be ready to accept whatever comes. Do not fear. Be courageous. Be bold. Once decided, and whatever you decide to be your sadhana, forge ahead. Do not turn back. Do not falter. Identify with the divine, with God, with Mahavir Bhagwan, who is always with you. If the sadhana is pure, without delusion, without wanting material benefits, it will carry on in the next life. So there is no need to say that I do so much, how will it help me? Have that confidence. Welcome spiritual progress, spiritual enlightenment. After this, go ahead, you're going to explore other things which are beautifully connected with penance or sadhana or self-discipline. You'll talk about faith. You'll talk about worship. You'll talk about the role of knowledge in sadhana. You'll talk about what is real renunciation, the bhav that should be there in sadhana, what needs to be cleaned up, and also the art of introspection. Ghanu badhu che aa chapter ma, beautiful che. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for inviting me. If I've made any mistakes or hurt anybody, I'm really sorry.
Are there any questions for Bina? Anyone?
No, but as always, Bina, very provoking and extremely thoughtful. It really makes us think. Thank you so much.
Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks.
All right. So Bina, thank you so much for taking your time out. It's late in Nairobi, I know. And Toye, you've agreed to stay up late, and you've got classes tomorrow, I think, in Nairobi. And just thank you so much for as I said, enlightening us with your immense wisdom, your immense insight, and we will obviously be seeking your help again in the future. So please be ready. And with that, can you recite the Manglik, please, Bina?
Yeah, sure. Chattari Mangalam, Arihanta Mangalam, Siddha Mangalam, Sahu Mangalam, Kevali Pannato, Dhammo Mangalam, Chattari Lokuttama, Arihanta Lokuttama, Siddha Lokuttama, Sahu Lokuttama, Kevali Pannato, Dhammo log uttamo chattari saranam pavachami arihante saranam pavachami siddhe saranam pavachami sahu saranam pavachami kevali pannatam dhammam saranam pavachami. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. અમર વાણીનો સ્વાધ્યાય કરતા અવિનય આશાતના અપરાધ અભક્તિ થયો હોય તો તસ્સા મિચ્છામિ દુઃખમ. તીર્થંકર વાણી વિરુદ્ધ કંઈ બી કહેવાયું હોય તો તસ્સા મિચ્છામિ દુઃખમ. ઉપાધ્યાય શ્રી અમરમુનિ આશ્રય વિરુદ્ધ કંઈ બી બોલાયો હોય, સમજાયો હોય, સમજાવાયું હોય તો તસ્સા મિચ્છામિ દુઃખમ. Thank you all.
Thank you, Bina.
Thank you. Thank you, Bina.
Wonderful, as always. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
And everyone, we'll see you next week, next Friday. And stay safe and enjoy the heat. And Euro football has started today, so enjoy that. Tennis was wonderful with Djokovic and Nadal, so enjoy that.
But
And
we can see you Sunday.
sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, so, Euro 2020, which was supposed to be last year, 2021, has started today. Djokovic and Nadal's match was wonderful. So I hope you managed to see some of it. And enjoy the weather and be happy. And, yeah.
Can I just say something, please?
Yeah, sure.
There's a one-gin presentation this Sunday on Let's Talk About Cancer.
Okay.
I'll forward you the local English by they'll put it on the chat.
Great, thanks. Nilesh, are there any further announcements?
No, that's just that we'll obviously continue with this book again next week as well, next Friday. So as Sandeep Bhai says, I think everyone enjoy this nice, hot, relaxing weekend and stay safe and look forward to seeing everyone next week.
Thank you. Thank you all.